Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Roger Rogers channel, and we're back with another awesome review for you all. That being the Star Wars Adventures Collection VC-269 Clone Trooper Phase 2 Armor from Andor. So when this figure released, it was very interesting because the Phase 2, clones only appeared for like a few brief seconds, worth of screen time on that series. So getting them on an Andor sort of like card back is very unique in its own way. But of course, you do get the sort of like shot of the clone trooper right here, the Star Wars Andor logo, I guess, his name in the pill, and of course the figure and the accessory right here in the bubble. You also get that Kenner logo right here on the bottom corner. And on the back, it does show like a checklist of some of the other figures that came throughout this wave. So we have Admiral Piet, Hunter, Andor, the clone, another Andor. We have Vel, Cal, and Starkiller. And I believe it's going to be Cal Kestis that we review next, probably after this one. So please stay tuned for that one. But besides that, you of course get the Vintage Collection sort of like border right here, the VC number on the top, and a bunch of warnings. So we'll go ahead and open him up, get him out of the bubble, and go from there. And here he is out of the bubble. And checking out the Phase 2 Clone Trooper, more likely, this is your typical sort of Phase 2 armor Clone Trooper, but, I haven't reviewed one as far as the TVC sort of version here on the channel, so this is going to be a first for me. And just by looking at it, everything looks pretty good. There is one thing that I will say, but I'll probably get to it in a bit. But for now, let's go ahead and talk and review from top to bottom. Looking at the head sculpt, it's not too bad. It does, sort of resemble Temuera Morrison, with that sort of like classic clone head mold. The eyes look pretty decent with that printing, and then of course you do get printing right there in the eyebrows as well. As far as the articulation goes, it's pretty, stable or pretty good for what it is. So as you saw right there, side to side, back and forward. Checking out the torso. Of course, he has that shiny white armor of his. There is no battle damage or wear and tear of any kind on this clone trooper, so I think that's pretty cool considering that maybe you want an army build, things like that. That would be one of the main reasons I was probably gonna get this guy. So yeah, checking out the torso right here, it looks like it has an individual swivel, you saw right there. So there is one on the lower waist and the upper part of the torso right here. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And of course, just comes in that solid white color. And like you just saw, the joints are really flexible, which I really like. Side to side, back, and forward. Checking out the arms. The arm is able to go up pretty good right there. And as you just saw, the shoulder pad is molded to the, like, this part of the arm, like the forearm, or not really the forearm, but, what would that be? Because right here is the shoulder, but it's not even connected to that. Like, I guess the lower part of his shoulder or whatever. So it is part of that piece of armor. So with that out of the way, you are able to get pretty good rotation on that arm, double elbow it looks like, and articulation at the wrist and at the hand. The other side as well. Of course, the shoulder pad does go up pretty far. You are able to get that really nice motion right there with that elbow. And of course, the articulation at the wrist and at the hand. Checking out the waist, he does have this white belt with a few pouches there and there. And yes, he does have that grenade piece, but unfortunately it does not come off. Moving on to the legs, he does have a really nice sort of like swivel right here near the thigh area. It is like not too loose, but still you're able to get some good rotation on that. The knees do go into a kneeling position. He has like a serial number right here on the side of his thigh. And again, just like with the elbows, there is pinless joints on this figure, which make it a little bit more realistic. Now, this is the part that I did want to talk about at the beginning that I was mentioning. I've never seen like the bottom part of the boot, or like their shoe at least, to be with that like croc looking sort of like thing right here, like the you know what I mean, like what Crocs have, that little speed mode as they say. It's kind of big. I don't know. Like, I've never seen it that wide or sticking out as far as, what it shows right here. And seeing it from like in an in-person type of look, they are very big. Like, see what I mean? Especially like having him at a distance, you can kind of tell, but I don't remember like the ankle part of the shoe being that wide or sticking out. Not sure if that's, the way that they molded it or things like that. But yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I wish it was a little bit slimmer just to give it a more natural look. But these look way too big. This legit looks like he's, wearing a pair of Crocs. But besides that and his Crocs, the feet do point down. You do get some good movement going up. And there is, of course, rock ankles to get some good action poses. And now looking at the accessories, he comes with a helmet. Looking at the helmet, it is your standard issue type of Phase 2 armor Clone Trooper helmet. So, of course, has that really nice look in the visor. You get this more detailed structure on that helmet. Completely different from, Phase 1, obviously. And I like how it has this more cleaner look to it. And like with most helmets, things like that, all you do is just pop it on just like that, and there you go. And having the helmet on the trooper, of course there are a few things to point out. One being that him going side to side is a bit limited just because of the size of the helmet. Yeah, the articulation is a little bit restricted now because of the helmet. And as far as like the actual scale, I think this might be a tad bit too big for it being, the sort of like 3-inch scale for this type of figure. Just because, like I had stated before with these types of helmets, they're a little bit oversized. So yeah, it kind of does the job, but not really. Up next, he goes a longer rifle. Checking out the rifle. Of course, we've seen this model many times. Probably not in the TVC, but definitely Black Series. So it's just a much smaller variation of that gun. But, of course, it does come in that black sort of like plastic for the most part, and that's pretty much it. And he's able to hold onto it very nicely, as you can see right here. Nothing gets in the way, things like that. And last but not least, he goes with a smaller rifle. Checking out the smaller rifle, this is the one that they mainly use throughout the Clone Wars. So again, comes in this like black plastic for the most part, and also again, we have seen this many times with the Black Series, and now this is what it looks like in the TVC. And yeah, he holds onto that other rifle very nicely, as you can see right here. I like that is one thing I will note with the TVC. I think from reviewing it so constantly now, instead of just like skipping over and mainly doing Black Series, I think the flexibility of their blasters and stuff really does make a difference, honestly, because you can get the hands, on the grip really well, on the trigger finger, where with the Black Series, it's a much harder mold, so obviously you're going to have to struggle a bit just to achieve a certain pose. But yeah, the TVC is definitely doing it for me. So now, as an overview of the figurine, he's pretty good. Again, I am reviewing these older type of figures, things like that, just because it gives you guys content, for one, and also, like I had stated in that other community post, it kind of gives me some time to do like the Halloween events that I kind of like anticipate for this time of the year. But honestly, for it being an older figure, it is really well made. Both the articulation is one thing I want to point out. It's very smooth, very smooth, I will state that. Just because of the extra sort of swivel that the torso had and the thighs. Usually it's kind of tough getting him to move in certain things. But yeah, those are some of the highlights of the figure. And then I know it is a small detail, but again, I do wish those like Crocs of his were a bit smoother or slimmer, just because they kind of stick out kind of awkwardly. And I'm gonna check real quick. Let me see, because yeah, I know it's not the exact all white sort of like shiny phase 2 clone, but just getting an idea. See how nice the slim look of these shoes actually fits this trooper. Small details like that really make a difference. But hey, overall, it is a really decent figurine, and if you can get your hands on these, I think it's a decent, army builder, in my opinion. Not sure what the resale value is for this guy, but for it being from Andor, might be, I don't know, maybe more, maybe less. Probably just have to hunt for him as a resell, maybe on eBay, things like that. Not sure if they're gonna reissue him. That'd be kind of cool if they did. But yeah, that pretty much is everything I need to talk about. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. And I'll catch you all on the next one.